just wanted to give you a little coming back with TJ's neighborhood. Got my World Eaters Night all finished up. Got him a big gigantic fell blade right there. That'd be cool if you had kind of a corn axe on him. Got the battle cannon going. Did some World Eater symbols here. Nice little skull right there. World Eater symbol on the back. And then on all the studs. If you've been following me on Instagram and everything like that, I actually found the smallest sewing needles I could with pins on there, so I drilled each one out and pinned them all in there. Thought I'd give a little added bonus, kind of the 30k feel of, you know, cool kind of shoulder pads and everything like there, and I hope you guys like them. And then my new project over here, I've been working on some Grey Knights. These are the really old Grey Knights. We are talking about metal, heavy, and I got brother Captain Stern back here. Pretty wicked. I gave him, I wanted to change him up a little bit. I wanted a demon hammer, so I gave him good old Sigmar's hammer from old bits and stuff I had. The one thing I wanted to show you guys was if you take a look at Grandmaster Voldus right here, his head's gone because I'm going to paint that separately, but he is so much larger than the metal Grey Knights. I mean, he's a good head or two taller than those, so he'll be pretty impressive out there on the battlefield. And is there anything else I wanted to update today? Y'all see any special news? Yeah, I saw some special news. Warhammer TV dropped, so I will be going over kind of an overview that I had of all the cool new 8th edition stuff that just came out. So guys, I hope y'all like it, and I'll talk to y'all in a bit. It's TJ here again, and I'm gonna do a recap over what I just saw earlier today. It's kind of late. Stayed up late. I wrote down a lot of the stuff that they talked about in the Warhammer TV video of 8th edition. So I wanted to make sure that I kind of organized it in maybe a fashion that maybe easier for y'all to get, and I'm sure made it easier for me to get. So I kind of grouped it. The first part I wanted to talk about was basically Codex and Rulebook. So the one thing I thought was pretty cool was new rules on day one. It sounds like there's going to be 5 books that they're going to be releasing. They're going to be kind of at a low price point. It's going to have points for all the units. One thing I thought about it was like how they're going to group it. So I was thinking, you know, probably it'd be like Space Marines would be one. Probably Imperial Forces will be another one. Chaos, I think, will be one. And then you'll have probably in 2 codexes or 2 books will probably be, one will probably be like all Eldar, which is Dark Eldar, Harlequins, Inari. And then I think probably the other book will be like just Orcs, Tau, Tyranids, Necrons, kind of that big breakdown. The one thing they did mention is the rules look like they're going to be digital, similar to Age of Sigmar, so they'll probably be free. There'll be printed versions on release, which I think will be kind of cool. I'll probably want to get a printed version of the rules just because I've always bought it as a rule book, so I'll probably do something like that. Looks like there'll be an app. It looks like there's going to be an app. It looks like they said something about an app similar to Age of Sigmar, which I think will be really wicked and cool. So if that's going to be the case, and probably all your point values and units will probably be in there, which will be cool too. Let's see here. There's no timetable on that app. Let's see here. They didn't really give a release date yet. I think they're waiting to make it a bigger announcement, which will kind of be cool. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, so Codex. I think the Codexes are kind of cool. There's going to be a Codex for each specific army. My guess it looks like it sounds like it's going to be very similar to the Codexes we have now. My guess is they'll probably release probably 1 every 2 months, you know, just business-wise. I think that makes a lot of sense. Each one will have updated rules for that army, probably point cost, special rules. I'll talk about the command points later, but it looks like there's going to be army-based command points. I think the codexes definitely will be very similar, you know, with background. It'll have rules. It'll have like painting guides, different kinds of models and stuff, and all that other stuff. How we're used to seeing them put out codexes, I think they will be doing the same. Let's see here. The next point I wanted to bring up was Force Org and types of play. So I just, you know, we already know about the 3 different types of play. You have the open, which is that you have a match play and a narrative play. They went in a little more detail about match play, and it looks like they're going to try to update that annually for like rule changes and other things to help balance out the game if maybe stuff gets kind of out of whack, which will be cool. Let's see here. Oh, so I did think this part was cool, that your match play is going to be very similar to the style we're used to building our army list. So probably here at FMP, we'll probably be doing more match play. Maybe if we do narrative games, maybe a little different, but match play is going to be point based for points. You know, upgrades are going to cost points. This weapon will probably cost a point. If you have a power fist, or if you're arming with some cool like relic or something like that, we'll probably see that same way of building the army. I think, but of course they are going to change the point values, which will be very cool as well. Narrative play, it looks like they're going to say it's power level based. My guess is similar to match play in Age of Sigmar, just for the fact that in Age of Sigmar you don't really pay for like upgrades and stuff. You know, I know I play demons, and I play, you know, basically anything Khorne related, since I have a Khorne Demonkin army. But it sounds like it'll be like that. You know, your bloodletters, they'll have a banner and everything. No really point changes. You'll have a champion. No really point changes. It'll just be more power level based. The one thing I did kind of like is they said that those two types of plays will probably be about 1,000 points and up. So my guess is your learning games will probably be open play, where you just bring what you have so you can learn the basic core rule set, which I think is awesome. They said during there, and also they'll have guidelines in there for kind of tournament play, which is kind of cool. So maybe it'll help out the tournament organizers, but I'm pretty sure those guys don't need help to organize tournaments, but maybe smaller based tournaments and stuff will probably be easier to organize. Let's see here. They also, one of the big things they kept on stating was that everything is definitely going to be more balanced. Then they revealed Force Orc. It looks very similar to Battleforge that we play with now. Instead of having one Force Orc, looks like they said there's going to be 14, which is going to be cool. And it sounds like the more you play one faction and you fill out those factions and those little Force Org charts and those little groups, you'll get more command points. So allies look like they're going to be valid, but you won't have as many command points, which may hinder you in the long run, or it may not. It just going to depends on how people build their armies. But it sounds like the more you build just from one faction, the more you're going to have, the more command points you'll get. And it sounds like that the command points are very cool, and we'll talk about. And so with command points, we'll talk about that a little more later. Let's see here. Major. And then I wanted to go over some major changes that I really saw that we'll definitely see completely different than what we're used to. Movement value. I recently saw a game of Armageddon Kill Teams, and each unit has a different move value, so that's going to be kind of cool. So not everyone's going to be moving 6 inches. So your faster movers will be moving faster, slower units will be moving slower. Kind of makes a lot of sense. Let's see here. No templates. I don't know how blast templates are going to work, or flamers or something. Maybe it'll be randomized, like D6 for blast. Large blast will be 2D6 or something. Who knows how they're going to do it, but I think they'll definitely do that. Another point they brought up is every unit will have new rules. So every unit that's currently out there, you're not going to have to get rid of them. It's not going to be like Age of Sigmar, where it's a totally new game. So it'll be like every unit will still be there, and each unit's going to have rules on day one launch, which I think is very cool. That shows that they spent a lot of time on this and making sure people that bought models wouldn't have to get rid of those models. Who knows the effectiveness right now, but that'll all be tested out and everything like that. They did talk about a more balanced game, so my guess is maybe some of those real powerful units may be upgraded in point value to make them as effective as they are on the battlefield. Maybe play that out. Let's see here. Which is cool. They did mention that each weapon is going to have a damage modifier or value to it, so my guess is probably similar to what we maybe saw in 2nd edition and what we're seeing in Kill Teams, where like maybe it's a -2, who knows, like a las cannon or something, -4 on the save, who knows. We'll have to really see what that's going to be like. I do find it very interesting that we no longer have armor value. Everything's going to be wound based. And with that, you come the damage table, which they talked about quite a bit, which was you'll definitely see damage as if you have like a 10 wound character or something, as it goes down, it'll become less effective, less powerful. It makes a lot of sense, you know, during time in battle, you know, a Wraith Knight that's, you know, on its last wound shouldn't be a Wraith Knight that just popped on the battlefield that's, you know, unleashing 2D cannons and other things like that. Maybe it'll ballistic seal, you see maybe ballistic seal drop, initiative drop, or, you know, attacks probably drop as it gets wounded. So, which is kind of cool. They did mention for wounds wise, they said the Lord of Skulls is going to have a lot of wounds, which I imagine it would, and you know, Imperial Knights and everything like that will have a lot of wounds. So I think that's going to be real cool. It's definitely going to be a big time game changer in the way we play without armor values. Let's see here. Yeah. So the damage table, you know, it's going to affect monstrous creatures, any multi-wound probably creature. You'll have some sort of damage table, which is, I think, is real. That is a real big change, and it's just something we're gonna. It'll be cool. Be able to hurt. They did mention everything's going to be able to hurt every other model, so I don't know. Maybe a bolter can actually hit a Wraith Knight or something. Who knows? We'll have to see how that plays out. But that kind of makes sense. You know, enough firepower of anything should dent a model or wound it. Let's see what else. Oh, close combat. They did say close combat was going to be a little more effective, which is kind of cool. I've always liked close combat armies, so you know, I know in 7th edition shooting was the key, and you know, close combat once you got there was kind of effective, but you know, it wasn't as good as it used to be like in 3rd and 4th edition and everything like that. So that's kind of cool. And they also said that they also mentioned a charging model will be able to will go first in close combat. So that would be kind of interesting, like a unit of Terminators with Thunderhammers going at initiative or going first. Going to be kind of brutal. So that's kind of cool. They also mentioned about the gameplay, and they said from most of their play testing and everything that they did say it would take about 90 minutes to get a 1,500 point game. That is a lot. Usually for 90 minutes for a good evenly matched 1,500 point game, that usually doesn't happen. It's maybe 2 hours or so. So let's see here. Another just some miscellaneous stuff that I picked up. Still a D6 system, so won't have to buy all new dice. Thank God for that. I have way too many dice and they never work. I mentioned all models will currently have rules, which is awesome. They said the way you build your army and its play style will definitely be more like a narrative on the battlefield, which I thought was kind of cool. So if your army is really close combat oriented or really shooty oriented, you'll really see that play out in the game, which I think is cool. Mentioned Forge World models, going to do the same thing. On the Horus Heresy stuff, they said more talk about that on a later date. I know there's some rumors maybe that it'll still be 7th edition or something, but we'll have to see what goes on there. They also kind of gave a mention of new factions. Will we see Squats back? I mean, we just saw them in Age of Sigmar, so that'd be kind of cool. Or maybe just totally new armies, which will be cool. Oh, they also mentioned what I noticed when I looked at the new 40k website is I didn't see Khorne Demonkin listed under Chaos. I was a little scared, like, oh my god, what's going to happen? But they did mention that that's for more narrative play and stuff like that. They're kind of just bringing up those major factions. My guess is Thousand Suns just got some new models. We've all seen the glyphs of the Death Guard, so they wanted to put those two out there as being like major role factions, especially in the new 40k universe. We saw the map of. Definitely think Death Guard, Ultramarines, Gilliam's out there, Death Guard. The rumors are Mortarian's coming back. Pretty much guess he is, so it's probably why they did that, to kind of give you more of a little sneak peek. It's kind of cool to see all that, the 40k website. So if you haven't checked out the new Warhammer 40k website, I definitely would. Oh, and the other thing is they're doing a keyword-based system. I'm sure if y'all played Age of Sigmar, you do see the keywords. So those keywords only affect certain things. So my guess is they'll have Adeptus Astartes, and they'll probably have probably go a little deeper and be like Imperial Fists. So if you're Adeptus Astartes Imperial Fist, then you get this bonus. You know, and that only affects models with those 2 keywords. So they did mention you won't see any kind of crazy shenanigans like we see with Dark Angels giving Space Wolves buffs and Space Wolves giving Dark Angels buffs, which makes no earthly sense if y'all have read anything on the Curse of the Wolf and Wrath of Magnus. They weren't really liking each other at all very much. So that is cool. I wanted to point out my two biggest takeaways from the whole conversation was one of them was testing. You know, they said they used guys over here in the U.S. like Frontline, Adepticon guys, and Nova. So that tells me that, you know, those are big tournament organizers that run a lot of events. So those guys are really knowledgeable. So if they're play testing, you know, they know what breaks games. They've seen all the lists. So if they're trying that same stuff and it's not doing and breaking things like it currently is, that's a good thing. My guess is they've probably played a ton of test games over there with all the guys on YouTube over in the UK, all the people that come in, the major players and the major event runners over there. My guess is they've done a lot of beta testing and everything to try to streamline those and try to probably mix up point values and stuff, which in my opinion, I'm very, very excited about it. I don't know how y'all feel, but I am. The other one was they also said check out the Warhammer community site. They said there's going to be daily updates until the rules are released with interviews, questions asked, FAQs, dropping new information. So I would definitely go check all that stuff out. So my overall takeaways from what I saw in this 8th edition release is I am excited. It seems like since 3rd edition, every edition's kind of been building on itself, trying to fix stuff, trying to move stuff. I think for them to redesign the system in general is going to make this game enjoyable again on all levels, just for the fact that there's 3 ways to play. You can play any kind of style you want and you're going to have fun doing it. And then on top of that, just to learn a new rule system. I mean, I don't know. I know they're still going to have stat lines and other things like that. So I have to memorize all those again. And maybe the special rules will change and I have to memorize those again. But right now, not trying to be a GW lover, but at the same time, I am excited that I get a new game system and it's going to be a new, interesting way to play the game that I've been playing since 1999. So that's a good 18 years now, and I am excited for this change, and I hope y'all will be too. That you know, just get excited. Don't worry about the rule changes and stuff, man. It's going to be the best part of learning the new game, playing new people, seeing what the guys do on all the different channels and all the bat reps and what they're going to do on the Warhammer community site. I think it's going to be a very exciting time. And I hope that y'all stay positive. Don't worry about it. Your army's still going to have the same, all your units are going to have the same rules. You're not going to throw anything away. You may have to redesign on how you utilize those on the battlefield. But that's the best part. Because if we're all playing the same game over and over again, it gets kind of boring. So with this, it's just a new way of doing things. So get excited, have fun, and wait till all the changes come out and you actually see the rulebook before you really, and you play the game before I would jump off and say I'm not going to play this game anymore. So I know none of y'all are doing that, so that's why y'all watch our channel, because we love the game just like y'all do. So I'll sign off and I'll bring back some more updates. So thanks guys for watching, yeah, that's it, man. Get excited. 8th edition. I'm pumped.